Ever wake up from a dream and you're like, what was my brain doing? Well, get this. It's actually working overtime, creating those wild, sometimes nonsensical scenarios.
It really is remarkable.
And today we are diving deep, no pun intended, into the science of sleep.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out what happens in your mind after you drift off.
I love it.
Our guide for this deep dive is fascinating research from the International Association for the Study of Dreams, led by sleep expert Dr. Michelle Carr.
Great resource.
It's really giving us a peek behind the curtain of our own minds.
It is. And, for the longest time, what happens during sleep, it was a mystery.
Right.
But we're starting to uncover how incredibly active our brains are during those nighttime hours. One way we've been learning about this is through sleep studies.
Okay.
Which, as you might imagine, involve a bit more than just counting sheep.
So I don't just show up in my pajamas and, snuggle up.
No, not exactly. Imagine volunteering for one of these studies.
Okay, I'm picturing it. I walk into the sleep lab, ready for a good night's rest, or so I thought.
Not quite the spa experience you might expect. You're going to be hooked up to an EEG, which stands for electroencephalography.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It sounds very complex, but basically it's just a way to track your brain's electrical activity through those telltale brain waves.
So it's like scientists are getting a live feed of my brain in action.
Pretty much.
That's both cool and slightly unnerving.
It is. And here's the interesting part. They wake you up at different points during the night.
Really? Why? That seems counterproductive.
I know. But those wake-ups, they're crucial for understanding what's happening in your brain during specific stages of sleep, especially when you're dreaming.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So every time they wake you up, they're essentially hitting pause on a different scene in your dream.
Exactly. And by analyzing your brainwaves at each stage, researchers can start to piece together how sleep works.
So it's like a nightly roller coaster ride for our brains, with each stage bringing a different wave pattern.
Precisely. Think of it like this. Stage 1 is that initial dip as you drift off, where those hypnagogic jerks happen. That feeling of falling that jolts you awake.
Yeah.
That's stage 1.
Oh, I've totally experienced that. Or sometimes I think I hear my phone ringing even though it's silent. Is that my brain incorporating sounds from my surroundings into those early dream fragments?
Exactly. Stage 1 dreams are often connected to your experiences right before sleep. As you move into stage 2, you delve a little deeper. Dreams here might be less vivid. More like your brain is sorting through the day's events.
So it's like my brain is doing some mental housekeeping.
Yes.
Deciding what to keep and what to toss.
Precisely. And researchers believe stage 2 is key for memory consolidation, moving information from short-term to long-term storage. This means you might actually be boosting your learning by getting enough sleep before a big test or presentation.
So if stage 2 is like my brain tidying up my mental desk, what's happening in stage 3?
Oh, stage 3, we go deep, literally. This is the deepest sleep marked by those slow, rhythmic delta waves. You're very hard to wake up in stage 3, and while you still dream here, those dreams tend to be less vivid and harder to remember.
It's like my brain has put up an out to lunch back soon sign, but clearly something important is still happening down there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Stage 3 is essential for restoring your body and mind. It's like your brain's cleaning crew is working overtime, clearing out metabolic waste and prepping you for the day ahead. This is why you often wake up feeling so refreshed after a night of quality sleep.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about how many hours we sleep, but making sure we cycle through these different stages, especially that restorative deep sleep.
Exactly. And now hold on to your hats because our brainwave roller coaster is about to take a sharp turn into REM sleep.
REM sleep. The main attraction, the realm of those crazy, vivid dreams that feel like entire movies.
Yes.
I once had a dream I was on a cooking show, but instead of ingredients, they gave us random objects.
Oh.
And my teammate tried to make a salad out of a stapler and yarn.
That's classic REM sleep for you.
It was wild.
Vivid, bizarre, and often hilarious in retrospect. REM stands for rapid eye movement.
Right.
And it's aptly named. During this stage, your eyes dart around under your eyelids, as if you're watching the action unfold in your dream, which, in a way, you are.
So my brain is incredibly active during this stage.
It is.
Almost like I'm awake, yet my body is essentially paralyzed.
Yes.
That's both fascinating and a little creepy.
It's a good thing, actually. Imagine if you weren't paralyzed during those action-packed REM dreams. You'd be acting them out, which could lead to some interesting and potentially dangerous situations.
Okay, I'll admit sleep paralysis does have its upsides.
Yeah.
I'd rather not wake up to discover I've recreated my dream cooking show in my actual kitchen with actual office supplies.
Right.
But how does my brain pull off this paralysis trick?
Well, it all comes down to your brainstem, which acts as a sort of control center. During REM sleep, your brainstem releases a neurotransmitter called glycine, which essentially blocks those signals from your brain to your muscles, keeping you safely in bed.
So it's like my brain is saying, let's go on an adventure.
Yes.
And my brainstem is saying, whoa there, partner, let's keep this adventure virtual for now.
Exactly. But while your body is resting, your brain is hard at work.
Right.
To truly grasp how incredible this is, we need to zoom in on the brain itself. Dr. Carr's research dives into the different regions involved in creating those nighttime adventures.
Okay, I'm picturing it. We're shrinking down, fantastic voyage style, about to get a front row seat to the inner workings of the dreaming brain.
Let's start with the cortex, the outermost layer of your brain.
Okay.
Think of it as the production studio for your dreams, where memories, faces, places you've been, all those experiences are pulled from storage and repurposed to build your dream world.
So that recurring dream I have about being back in high school, but I can't remember my locker combination. Yep. That's my cortex, digging up old memories and having a field day with them.
Exactly.
Wow.
And because dreams draw on your personal experiences, those seemingly nonsensical scenarios can often hold clues about your emotions, anxieties, or unresolved issues. Now let's head over to the sensory cortex, specifically the visual and auditory areas. These regions are highly active during dreaming, which explains why dreams are primarily visual and auditory experiences.
That makes so much sense. I rarely ever feel things in my dreams the same way I do when I'm awake. It's more about the sights and sounds.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the motor cortex, which is responsible for movement.
Okay.
Remember that feeling of running in a dream but getting nowhere?
Oh, yeah.
Your motor cortex is actually firing as if you were running in real life.
Wow.
But thankfully, that trusty brainstem is there to keep you from sprinting out of bed.
It's amazing how all these different parts of my brain are working together, even when I'm sound asleep.
I know.
But what about my emotions?
Yeah.
Some of my dreams can be so intense.
You're right to point that out. That intensity comes from your limbic system, the emotional center of your brain.
Okay.
This area is highly active during REM sleep, which explains why even seemingly mundane dreams can be charged with such strong emotions.
So that dream where I forgot to wear pants to a meeting, it wasn't just my cortex misplacing my wardrobe. It was my limbic system amplifying my fear of embarrassment.
Precisely. Dreams give us this unique window into how our brain processes emotions, often in a symbolic and amplified way.
It's like our dreams are giving us a secret peek into the emotional control room of our brains. But there's one part we haven't talked about yet, the prefrontal cortex, that adult in the room part of our brain that helps us make logical decisions. Is it taking a well-deserved break during dream time?
You're spot on. The prefrontal cortex is actually less active during REM sleep,
Uh-huh.
and that might just explain why dreams can be so delightfully illogical and unpredictable.
So that explains why I can have a perfectly rational conversation with a talking dog in my dream without batting an eye. My inner logician is off duty, letting my subconscious run free.
Exactly. With the prefrontal cortex less engaged, our dreams are free to explore those unfiltered, often nonsensical scenarios that our waking minds might dismiss. But even those bizarre storylines can offer valuable insights into our deepest thoughts and feelings.
This is all so fascinating. I have to ask, what about those people who say they never dream? Are their brains just taking the night off?
Everyone dreams. It's just that some people remember their dreams more vividly or frequently than others. But even if you don't recall your dreams, you're still cycling through these stages, and your brain is still hard at work during those sleeping hours.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
We've explored the different stages of sleep, zoomed in on the brain regions behind our dream world, and even uncovered the reason behind those bizarre yet often emotionally charged dream scenarios. What's the biggest takeaway you hope our listener walks away with today?
I think the most important thing to remember is that sleep is anything but passive. Your brain is incredibly active during those nighttime hours, consolidating memories, processing emotions, and potentially even preparing you for the day ahead. Paying attention to your sleep and your dreams can offer amazing insights into your own mind.
It's like Dr. Carr said, sleep and dream research is still ongoing, which means we have even more to learn about this amazing world our brains create every night.
Absolutely. This deep dive has only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
Well, until our next mental adventure, sweet dreams, everyone. And remember, That next bizarre dream might just hold the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of yourself.